How has the quality of your life changed over the past few years?
I started fighting for a cause that wasn't monetary, which is very different, right? I always wanted to build great buildings. I always wanted to have unbelievable teams. I always want to recreate skylines and landscapes, and that's what we do in hard asset space. And I was dead serious about that. And then all of a sudden, we were fighting for something that was a little bit less tangible. We were fighting for the American spirit. We were fighting for the American flag. We were fighting for our Constitution. We were fighting for our nation. And it changed in that every single day I started taking arrows for doing something that I thought was noble and righteous and right. I never thought that because you love America and you wanted to fight for its betterness, you would start becoming the most subpoenaed person ever. I never thought that you'd have to spend $400 million defending yourself from shams because, Hillary Clinton made up a, Russia hoax. And, I never thought that we'd be there, but it's also been really kind of rewarding. I have this 99-year-old grandmother who always has a saying. She goes, "How many steaks can you eat?" And it means a lot to me. Where, at a certain point, it's not monetary. It's not about succeeding in business. It's about doing the right thing. How many steaks can you eat? And I think it's changed me in that I think I have multiple purposes in my life now. One, certainly a company that I love and one of the great real estate companies anywhere in the world, but also one, fighting for American spirit and American people that I adore, and in a movement that has become, I think, the most powerful political movement on earth.
You mentioned that you're very lucky that you were insulated from a lot of these attacks because of your pocketbook. Basically, you had the money to stay protected from all of this stuff. Would you say money buys happiness?
No, money definitely doesn't buy happiness. But hold on one second. I got to go back to that, the insulated.
Yeah.
We were far from insulated. They wanted us imprisoned, and they did everything they could to effectuate that. And the only tool that we had was the fact that we had enough monetary means and allowed enough voice to be able to go and fight back against an incredibly rigged system. If we didn't have the voice, we would have lost. If we didn't have the monetary means to pay a lot of lawyers, we would have lost. And it was touch and go. You better believe it was touch and go. I will tell you, some of the most miserable people in the world are some of the wealthiest. And I've met people who have achieved every milestone in life. They have their private planes, they have their this, they have their that, they've got their beautiful houses, they've got their trophy wives, they've got their trophy husbands, right? And yet they're still miserable. So no, I don't think money buys happiness. I think being a great person, I think being mission driven, I think loving what you do. So oftentimes I think it's when you lose the passion, that you find the misery. The people who have done extraordinarily well but are passionate about what they do are normally incredibly kind of happy people. Versus the people who are now sitting on tremendous fortune with idle time are typically the people who go down the other path, and I've seen that a lot, and it's a shame.
So, what would you say for yourself are your primary sources of happiness?
Yeah, I've got two unbelievable kids, Luke and Carolina. They are absolutely my joy in life. I've got an unbelievable wife, Laura. You probably know her from. She's become a superstar in the world of politics and on Fox News, and she's amazing. I love building, meaning in my free time. I love projects. I love the shooting sports. Love the outdoors. Love being outside. Love dirt bikes. Grew up on dirt bikes, and still doing a lot of the ATVing stuff. So I love the outdoors. I love waking up early. I'm up at 5 o'clock on a weekend, normally in my truck, and watching the sun come up, and I love fishing and skiing. I mean,
how do you even find time to do that stuff?
I don't, but I try and carve out a day a week.
Is this a recent thing? Oh, a day a week. So you have like a schedule?
No, it's listen on if I'm not traveling on a Saturday or Sunday, I try and find some time for myself. And it's difficult, right? We run a very big company and work very hard and don't sleep a whole lot, and always get interrupted no matter what I'm doing, and that's fine, right? It's the life I love, and it's the life I enjoyed, and I think if I ever had free time, I'd probably be miserable and incredibly bored, right? I think there's certain people who are. My grandfather had this great expression: "It's to retire is to expire," and I think we're all built that way. I think humans are probably actually built like that. But no, I like to run hard in everything I do, and I can't tell you how many times I'll come off a plane at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to try and get a couple free hours of free time. So I think what actually gets compacted in my life is actually probably sleep, but that's okay. Yeah. We operate on very little sleep anyway.
Would you ever run for president?
I retired from politics. I called my father the morning of the election after we won in it was November 6th. And I said, Pops, I love you. I'm going back to the company. I'm going back to the people I love. I'm going back to, doing this. I'll run this side of life, and, you do a great job for the country, and you won't need to worry about anything over here. And, I know the country's in great hands. And I never thought I would have been in this race. I never thought I would have been a major player on that stage. And I was. And arguably without me, my father couldn't have done it, right? Because there would have been no one watching over the actual company. And, that was everything he had ever built, everything he had ever created. This is a major, he had an answer back in the 80s, which is, if it ever got so bad that we had no other choice, I would do it. And that would probably be my answer as well. I've seen the best of politics. I've also seen the worst of politics. I've seen how they can try and destroy a family for doing absolutely nothing wrong. I see how they can lash out and try and imprison you and bankrupt you and then kill you, as they did to my father twice. At the same time, I see this as kind of amazing transformational change that he's making every single day, right? I mean, peace in the Middle East, who the hell would have thought, right? Look at where our economy is, look at where our world is, look at our standing around the world. And so, the good news for the first time, I can see, I really see people who are making a difference. He's making a difference. And I think that's a beautiful thing for our nation. And we better have good business leaders running this country and not these bureaucrats who have been, can you imagine if AOC ran a $32.5 trillion economy?
Yeah. Well, it's Deloitte. They're polluting the oceans. Did you see that?
Yeah. I mean, but like, I mean, look at Kamala, right? I mean, she goes out and talks. Her big economic plan was to stop the price. What did she say?
Gouging.
No. She said gauging. Price gauging.
Oh,
right?
Sorry. Price gauging at the grocery stores.
Yeah. Price. So she wants, her economic plan for this country is to stop the price gauging. Now,
have you seen the margin though that they have at
grocery stores are making a ton of money. They're making 1% margins.
Yeah, I mean those guys. If anyone has money, it's the people that run the grocery.
The grocery store owners.
Casamatides is a friend of mine, right? Owns Cristides and D'Agostino's and all those, and a lot of places are not even making that. You know why? Because of the theft in some of these cities, right? When you used to have a theft rate of, half of 1%, and now all of a sudden, you have 7% of product walking out of your stores in high tax environments, with spoilage and everything else that you have in the supermarket business, you're not making anything. And the hardest business, but yet Mandami wants to go and nationalize grocery stores. So, in all the infinite wisdom of City Hall in New York, I mean, I've saved them more times than you can count. We saved them on a skating rink in Central Park. We saved them on a golf course, which they spent 30 years trying to build at a cost of almost $300 million to build a golf course. And I got the thing done in 18 months, right? And yet in City Hall's infinite wisdom, they're going to go nationalize grocery stores and make these things profitable. Give me a break.
If you've ever been denied a car loan, credit card, or even an apartment because of what's on your credit report, you are not alone. Most people don't even know what's hurting their credit score, let alone how to fix it. That is exactly where our sponsor DisputeBeast comes in. It's an AI-powered platform that helps you find and remove outdated or inaccurate items from your credit report fast.
We're talking things like late payments, old accounts and collections, or even accounts that don't belong to you. Not to mention, how it works is super easy. You connect your credit report and DisputeBeast scans it for negative marks that could be dragging down your score. Then it generates custom dispute letters tailored for your situation, no templates and no guesswork.
You could choose to just download the data and send it to the agencies yourself, or you can use their built-in mail service where they will literally handle everything for you.
It's honestly just really clean and simple to use, and it's built by experts.
So if you're ready to take back control of your credit, go to disputebeast.com/ICH today. There's also a link down below in the description, disputebeast.com/ICH. Guys, they will literally handle everything for you. If you're dissatisfied with your credit, they will do all of the research, let you know what's going wrong, and they will fight for you. disputebeast.com/ICH. Thank you so much to DisputeBeast for sponsoring this clip.